if you owned land, that would you the landed gentry. But you could own a little bit of land, or a middle bit of land, or a big bit of land. So you've got the lords and the real aristocracy. And these guys are sort of, they're on the lower levels of that upper class. They're trying to hang in there, and so they probably had more servants than appear on stage. You're not the only one. They would need a cook and whatever. And it's interesting. I think, well, in the play, I don't really. I don't know why, but when they moved to Bath, there's a butler. Not sure why that's there. Why? I don't know. I haven't discovered that subtlety yet. But yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
I read that the maids had
Sorry, leave it louder.
I read that the maids had like the worst job possible. Like,
Yes. They would
go to wake up earlier than everyone, go to bed after everyone.
And
really,
lived in a really rotten bit of the house away up in the attic where it would be cold.
Yeah. Or like just a bed on the floor near the kitchen.
Yep.
Stove.
Up early to start the fires.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on there were different. Even the bigger the house, the more maids, and there would be hierarchy of maids.
Yeah.
The scullery maid was
even
the
some
absolute
of, like, the
worst.
poorer families would even have a maid, and they would do everything.
Yeah. I'm old enough that we had a maid. But they were probably paid nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it comes with all this. Oh, you're exerting. Well, no, not really. It's just in my mother's generation. If the working class didn't, but even the working class might have a lady that came in and washed the floor or something. The labor was much cheaper. Yeah, but the maids were. But I don't think you're right at the bottom as a maid. You're more.
They did a lot of hard work, like hauling water and all the heavy junior tasks.
Yeah.
I can tell you that my husband's grandmother was a domestic servant in a big house.
There you
and
go.
she had, because she worked for a wealthy family, she had ideas about her place in class, and her family had an idea about her place in class, so that when she married a print compositor, she was considered marrying beneath herself, and her family disowned her.
Because he was trade.
Yeah.
Trade was sort of beneath contempt. Yes. Whereas she was even a little low part of this big,
It's very complicated.
If you earned money. Lots of work. Good.
I read that like in this era, women were like not allowed to own property. So I think that is interesting in the context of the play, because it does reveal this pressure on young women to get married and get married early, because they can't inherit their father's estates.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do that. So that's kind of where the pressure to get married and to get married young comes from. And
no
to marry
welfare. No welfare. You're on your own. If your father dies, what are you going to do? You could find a relative to sponge off and live with, unless you're married yourself.
To marry well, so that you can keep all the comforts that you're used to. Because if you marry beneath you, then there goes your servants, and far enough beneath there goes your servants and your house and your quality of life, because you don't get to keep any of that.
And your respect from others in your milieu, the people in your same social strata, you wouldn't be going to the same dinner parties or whatever they had, or balls, or you just wouldn't be invited anymore, because she's just a poor really. That's why Mrs. Smith is, Mrs. Smith went to school with Anne, yet circumstances have put her in this little, so she's sort of outside that society completely, apart from Anne going to visit her.
That level of hierarchy went on for a long time, because in Downton Abbey, there's the hierarchy of the servants, if you remember that.
Yeah.
In the servants' quarters, there was a hierarchy of level, and everybody listened to the boss, and so that was 100 years later.
Yes.
So it obviously went on for a considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
The thing I learned too was I was looking some research about beards. This is why I'm growing my lamb chops.
Thank you for bringing it up, guys. If you can you let your or maybe you can't. If you can do this, grow these guys.
Don't have them.
I can make you some.
It doesn't grow in like super.
No, I don't want you down here, but if you can grow it just a little bit
Sideburns.
longer,
Yeah, I'll do my
the
best.
sideburns.
Yeah.
That was the fashion,
Cool.
and hair a wee bit longer if you can. Then you know, just don't cut it. Like don't shave your head or anything. Kimball. I had well, Mr. Darcy. I forgot